Yesterday, President Obama went to Chicago to bask in a glow of his executive order over immigration. Well, he didn't quite get the reception that he was hoping for. A lot of Hispanics actually booed for what many deemed too little, too late. Take a listen.
But even a all right. Okay. All right. That's fine. You made your point.
You know, it seems to me, however, thinking about that, native-born Americans probably should have been the ones booing. And in fact, a lot of them are probably going to be crying real soon. First, the states with the most illegal parents of citizens or permanent residents all have higher unemployment than the national average of 5.8%, except for Texas. Okay, we're talking Georgia at the highest at 7.7%, North Carolina, Arizona, Washington, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, Florida, California, all of them, by the way, too, very heavily indebted states. In addition to the economic burden that comes from this amnesty deal, we've learned that because these immigrants don't have to have access to Obamacare, that businesses will not be fined for hiring them if they don't provide insurance to the employees. So what that really means is that they can save up to $3,000 per amnestied immigrant, on top of the fact that they're probably going to get workers who have worked for less anyway than most native-born Americans. All right, Tom, I mean, this is a disaster. It hits, the hits just keep coming.
Well, here's the problem. This is like so many things they do. They come up with some solution that doesn't fix the problem. So you get 5 million illegals that will now be able to come out of the shadows theoretically. What about the 6 million? Because if you come in and you say, I'm now documented and I have to pay you a good wage, I'll just say, excuse me, the next illegal that's in the shadows, please come forward and take Charles' job. I'm telling you, this won't fix a thing, and it will hurt the 6 million more than they've hurt already.
Here's the thing, too, Jim, and we're talking about people on the lower economic rungs, you know, pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. It's kind of hard if you're competing for a job with someone who's got these advantages over you. They don't have to have insurance. You know, the business owner's not going to be fined, and they'll work longer, harder, and for less money.
Look, we've been talking on your show for a while about the cost of health care, the cost of small businesses, and here is a kink in the system that actually is going to allow business. Here's a loophole in the system that's going to allow business owners to save $3 grand a person if they go with the illegal. So the fact is, you know, it's not something I would even consider. But as people are going to try to run their businesses on thin margins, I think this is actually a real issue. I noticed that a year ago, 26% of the population wanted to kick out the illegal immigrants. That number is now at 35%. And I have to think, I was shocked to hear it was at 26. I'm more surprised to see that momentum is building on what I think is a ludicrous idea. But there's momentum.
Well, it's not a good thing to have that kind of animosity and friction in the country.
You know, a lot of people out there have a high school education. It's very tough for them right now. But then you have the illegal immigrants come over. They have about 10 years of education, and they're stealing the jobs from them. So the people actually stuck it through, made it through high school, maybe came from a tough neighborhood. Now they go out to get a job and they can't because people who snuck in here illegally or should be in jail or should be thrown out of our country are now taking their jobs from them.
Tamara, are you conflicted on this at all? Because I know you're a champion of the native-born poor. You do a lot of stuff for them. And then you have people who come here, cut the line illegally. You know, it doesn't make it easier for poor people. It makes it harder for them, doesn't it? Poor native-born Americans.
Well, I've lived in as many places as Tom has had jobs.
No, that means every country in America, plus a couple on Mars.
But I grew up in southeastern Colorado, where Reagan allowed for agricultural families to hire illegals. And I saw that. I saw the fruits of that. The problem is that you want to talk about criminalizing and throwing people out of the country, and that's a great narrative. That's a great talking point, but there's so many young kids that came here illegally, but their parents brought them here. How do we punish them? Because they only speak English. Their friends are here. They have American education.
Right.
They want to be here.
But their parents, though, get to take a job away from someone born in this country. Don't you think there's something inherently wrong with that?
Now you're switching to the blame game, because before you were saying if you want to leave and you want to walk out of the ghetto, you can do it. But now you're saying, oh, wait, I can blame somebody for stealing my job.
No. I'm just saying, do you think there's something wrong with that? Do you think it's right or wrong?
I think it's wrong to steal a job. I don't think that that's what's going on.
I'm saying that $3,000 issue is going to actually be a recruiting tool for the illegals at the expense of.
It will be, and it's an executive order, and that's only as good until the president is out, and the next president has to decide whether to keep it or not. So I'm going, do I turn myself in for a 2-year pass?
Can I just make one point?
A lot of people won't.
This is Obama, again, not knowing what the hell to do. And so he was like, I'm just going to sign this order. It's a temporary thing because I don't know what I'm going to do, and I wasn't sure if I was going to hurt the Democrats or not, so I did it after the midterms, which didn't work. He should have done it before. He's kicking it down the can.
I mean, listen, I mean, you know, to me, if you believe in something, believe in it. You know, these regulations, he waited until after the midterms, the amnesty thing. You believe in it, you should have done it beforehand. You should have done it, you know. But I will say those people walking out of the ghetto, if they walk out of the ghetto young enough, they won't even be competing for these jobs. They'll be competing for higher paying jobs. Heath, I know you wanted to get in there. We'll get back to you. Right now, though, research has proven what I've always said, guys. There is a connection between how much golf a CEO plays, and the performance of their company, and it ain't good. I've got a few very interesting stats that will surprise you when we come back.